Thank you very much, Tyler, and hello everybody, my name is TempestMask1000, and today I'm going to see if a week's worth of practice will come into handy, or if we'll get a bit of chaos today. Whichever the case, I hope you all are ready to enjoy this run, because holy heck, it's been a long time coming. This is the infamous Mighty No.9 in the flesh, and for once, I'm not going to be doing a category that I made up. Rather, the wonderful people of SpeedGaming here have brought me back to this time bring in any percent. And so we're going to do the full story. And joining me today are two wonderful people that I couldn't be any happier to have on board with this one. First off, we have LV Creed.
Mighty No.9.
Hey everybody, hoping to see a pretty good run of this particular game. So Tempest, I know you're going to do great, so let's see what you got.
And the world record holder for this category and any percent hard, Epiho Pue, also known as JP.
Hello, Epiho Pue. I'm excited to see what Tempest is gonna do, and I'm also gonna be providing some extra stuff here and there, and help, of course.
Sounds good. Well, it's wonderful to have both of you with us, and a quick shout out to our good pal Mr. Cab in the chat, who immediately disagrees with one of the first things I said. Don't worry, Cab, we love this game no matter what. So, I think I'll just stick to... Well, okay, hold on. I see my pal David TKI suggesting Japanese. You know what? We'll go with Japanese. Let's go with the Japanese voices. I'll just set that to the options. Shout out to the French dub, which I never really tried before. Ooh. Oh, looks like the game wanted to load that one. Gave me a bit of a scare there. All right, let's begin then. Gentlemen, are you ready?
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Alright, and a quick request from chat. This game uses IGT timing as its main method of timing, so if anyone would be willing to pay attention to each post-level results screen to get an idea as to which times I got, that would be perfect, because then I would like to, I'd just like to see if they add up well with the file time that we'll be looking at the very end of the game, assuming that Trinity behaves. So without further ado, let's begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1... Mighty No.9. Alright, so we'll start by skipping the first cutscenes. This game just wants to introduce to us that we are taking place in a futuristic America with 52 states. Whichever two got added to the flag, I have no idea, and the game never will tell us anyway. But regardless, it seems as though times have been interesting. We got some new robotics and stuff. Our main protagonist is Mighty No.9 himself, Beck, and it turns out that things are going terrible. But first things first, I gotta use the action shift jump. So, JP, could you explain?
Yeah, this move is actually something we're gonna use later on for a invincibility glitch, but as of now it is the fastest way of movements. You can't dash yet. You will need to watch a couple of cutscenes to get the dash power, and after that you're gonna be seeing a lot more of that and a lot less of this. So, right up around now, after this cutscene we're gonna be introduced to the combat and the dash. And dash is a rather big part of the combat. As you can see, you can shoot your enemies a couple of times and then they will stun and bleed some cell, I think they call.
Yes.
And then you can dash into them to get rid of them. And that is usually the better way to go with things, rather than just shoot them. You can of course just shoot them, but that's slower and you won't get the bonuses these enemies provide. You saw that enemy. He created a red color and now Tempest has a red power-up. That means it's a damage power-up. There are other kinds of power-ups too. There are green one that provides speed and yellow that provides defense, and those blue enemies, if you dash enough of them, you will get a E-tank like Tempest just got actually. You can just use a button to heal yourself completely.
The only downside to it is that it will heal you even if you press it when you're at full health. So I want to be very careful, because Cab would know that there have been at least a couple of times where I've done this accidentally when doing an incentive run of taking on the mighty numbers in the boss rush.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, there is no actual boss rush in the story mode, but there is a boss rush mode as sort of a post-game spoil. So, good news, we won't have to see the mighty numbers again, and assuming that there are some that you just do not like to see. Otherwise, this game, for a little background information, is Keiji Inafune's brainchild after he left Capcom and started his own... Oh, this guy's not giving me any fun vibes here. There we go. Keiji Inafune's brainchild after he left Capcom and started his own company, Concept. The game was developed by Inti Creates, best known for the Gunvolt series, as well as Blaster Master Zero's trilogy and other things, and has been very successful to this day. Unfortunately, Level 5 Concept still exists, but nowadays it's Level 5 Concept, which thankfully Level 5 was more than willing to pick them up. I'm looking forward to see what they do in the future, but for now, we haven't really seen any other Mighty No. 9 since, but I digressed a little too much. Yeah, that was the intro boss. We're gonna finish him right there. The Round Digger, because we don't have any weapons, I just needed to mash the Buster as fast as we can. So, yeah, that was a pretty good fight. So here comes the first result screen time. 2 minutes... 2 minutes, 20 seconds, point 33. So, if anyone would be willing to keep some notes on that, that would be great. But now I'm going to skip more cutscenes, and now we're introduced to Dr. Sanda, who, in the English dub, is normally voiced by Dave Wittenberg, aka Kakashi. Why was I sent... What the heck just happened? The game just sent me to the options menu instead of the stage select. That's never happened before.
This is a finished product.
This is a finished product. It's as if Mighty No. 9 wants to tell me that hey, you haven't figured out how we work just yet. Let's keep in mind this was made in the Unreal Engine, by the way, but it's okay. This doesn't necessarily invalidate my run by any means. But yeah, here we have Bat Stage, and I'll pass it on over to Creed to say a few things. So go ahead, Creed.
Yeah, for the most part, Battalion Stage is a pretty straightforward stage. As usual, since this, for all intents and purposes, whether you like it or not, it's still basically a Mega Man game. You always gotta have your starter stage, where there's really not too much that you need other weapons for, and you just pretty much just gotta straight jump into the thick of things. As you can see, he's using the Buster and the dash mechanic in order to get by enemies as fast as possible. Hopefully, by this point, yeah, we're gonna see if he should have gotten it.
Yeah. Nice.
So yeah, what you're seeing right now is probably one of the more interesting glitches that Mighty No. 9 has, using the action shift that was alluded to earlier. If you actually use the action shift while using it on an exploding crate or box, the iframes that actually from the action shift will remain, and you have a decent period of vulnerability, at least up until this point, where any kind of like cutscene or like these battle rooms that you got to go through pretty much cancels out the invulnerability, and you just got to start it up over again. Speaking of battle stages, you always got to try to do these as fast as possible. That's pretty much something that should be obvious, but there's something that needs to be said regardless. So picking up as many like power-ups as you can. Of course, we see the speed up and the attack upgrade. Hoping to just get through the rest of the stage as quickly as possible. It also stands to know that you're seeing a lot of these these pink little obstacles that are like on the floors and on the walls. That's going to be very important, because from one of the wise decisions that Mighty No. 9 kind of decided to make, they kind of took a ill-advised inspiration to Mega Man 1, and all those pink spikes or anything that's relatively pink are instant kills, even if you have invulnerability frames. So, of course, naturally, Tempest is going to wind up having to take extra care with those, and there are quite a lot of pink in this game.
Pink is the bad stuff, yeah, pretty much.
So, yeah, but like I said, other than that, just pretty much a straightforward jaunt as we about to go into the Battalion Fight. So Battalion Fight, as you see kind of like in the beginning when you saw the intro boss, you're going to be doing quite a bit of mashing. And we didn't quite explain it the first boss, but the main thing about dealing damage and actually destroying the mighty numbers is that you're going to be doing a lot of mashing until they get to a specific part of him where they get stunned, and then using the accelerating dash, you're actually able to knock off that portion of health. Otherwise, they will regenerate their health over a given period of time. As for Battalion, he can be a little bit of an annoying boss, depending on what patterns he gets. He uses machine guns to litter the area, a part of the area. You saw that big missile. If you get hit by it, that's basically an instant kill. It's easy to dodge, but you can be careless and wind up getting hit by it. But otherwise, it looks like we got ourselves a pretty decent fight. Very good job, too.
All right, thank you, and let's see what our next IGT will be. By the way, the game does reward you if you do a little duck dash under the missile as it fires. Fine plays are just little score bonuses. I'd advise not being too serious about that if you're intent on trying this game for a spin yourself. 3 minutes, 9 seconds, point 33. So... now we got our first of the weapons, and reselection works like Mega Man's weapons would, except a little page from a concept that was originally intended for the classic series was that Beck's entire appearance changes. Now, sometimes we'll get weapons that have multiple abilities to them, as we'll see with the third mighty number, but for now, we're going into my Mr. Cab's favorite of the numbers, Seismic, aka Mick. Now, I will try to get the iframe glitch using what I call the box destruction jump, or BDJ, again. So this time I'll be using Battalion, which takes a page from Grenade Man's Flash Bomb. Let me just see if I can, yeah, that section can be a little precarious if you're not too careful, because they assume that people know what they're doing, but sometimes the gap we touch. I think I got it there, so we'll just have to find out by touching this big boy. Yep, there we go. But I also want to be careful because anything that crushes me also counts as an instant kill, and these iframes are double. Other than that, though, I'm just going to go on through. If I failed that, there would have been another opportunity, a couple more to do that easily, so, and this would have been it. So the funny thing about the iframe glitch is that the only exception to the pink is bad rule is these drills. Normally they would instant kill you on normal gameplay, but apparently the iframe glitch keeps you from dying to these things. So I guess there are some exceptions to the big bad rule from Mega Man 1. I already love the fact that this is kind of the first time I'm playing the game using the Japanese voices, period. Thank you, David, for suggesting that one. Alright, let's see if I can get this one. This could be a bit tricky, though. Okay, phew. That jump is, can be precarious. If it were on a better cycle, I wouldn't have had to do it like that, but, yeah, no, more often than not, that's just how it has to be. And that's, I've been getting it consistently now, but, you know, I still get scared. Here's where one of the nicer mechanics of Mighty No. 9 comes into play, where instead of just getting the weapon, you also get the mighty numbers helping you out here and there. And in Bat's case, it helps us by taking care of that drill, and we don't have to wait for it to come crumbling into those blocks, making that just a little bit faster, thank goodness. Alright, here's Mick. I'm going to leave it to J2 to expose it.
This fight is also rather simple. We want him to stay as close to the ground as much as possible, and do that kind of jumping that much. He will drop blocks at you with that also, and that can get a little annoying. And now that he's at half health, he will drop 2 additional pillars. You can get crushed under those, and so can Mick actually, but that's rather rare. And something we didn't mention in the previous fight, every single boss has these desperation moves that change the fight a little bit, or at least an additional move. And a couple of them we can skip, and we are hopefully going to skip those, because of course we're gonna save time with that. But that was a good big fight, I'd say.
I agree. So, our next time is 2 minutes, 6 seconds, point 47.
47.
Alright.
Nice.
So now comes Mr. Cad's favorite reselection. So Mick is a very, very creative weapon, and I recently came to appreciate his powers just a bit more, because beforehand, it seemed a bit weird at first to me, but now that I understand that you can actually dash when using it and it still activates, that makes it a bit more helpful. So, to further explain, Creed, what's the deal with Mick?
Well, technically, when using seismic resurrection, the main gimmick is the fact you're probably more like an automated steamroller or a bulldozer, where you're kind of just moving along full-on tank treads and just pretty much just bum rushing everything that's on site. But since it's kind of one of those physical weapons, it's kind of one of those weapons that can be very, very hard to wield. because in some cases you can very easily lose control, and your main mode of damage is actually trying to literally run over any and all bosses on the screen, and if they take more damage, there is a bit of a recoil where you bounce off a given enemy, and you just gotta try to recover from there, and that can be very dangerous in areas where they're full of spikes or full of piss or whatnot. But heading deep into Brandish's stage, you're pretty much just rolling along this constant flow of traffic along this highway. Of course, if you fall off at any given point, it's pretty much instant death, as getting off the road is basically treated like a pit. So going through some like midi sections, like going through and destroying those billboard signs that were on the way, destroying them basically as soon as they get on the screen to try to get through that area as quickly as possible. It was very well done when Tempest already went through that. So otherwise, again, it's one of those stages where not too much is happening, and you're pretty much just going from vehicle to vehicle, making sure that you don't wind up getting killed by falling off. Here we go with another one of those kill rooms where you gotta destroy everything as quickly as possible. And of course, you're seeing once again Battalion's weapon pretty much doing the heavy lifting. We really didn't talk about Battalion's weapon because it is pretty much one of the bread and butter weapons of Mighty No.9. It has a very, very large ammo, it has a very low consumption rate, and it's very easily spammable. It's very powerful. If you want to equate this to say the Metal Blades or even the Laser Trident from Mega Man 9, this would be one of the weapons. This is definitely one of the go-to weapons to go to. And probably another thing that's pretty interesting about this game, as we see the iframe glitch in action yet again. The thing about actually getting weapons back, there are no weapon ammo that you pick up. You actually get it over time. You can either get it over time, or you actually defeat some enemies and try to get some weapon energy back that way. So you don't have to. So you gotta be a little bit precarious about how your weapons are going to be utilized throughout the entire game. So it's one of those situations where it's same but different. But otherwise, it's pretty much just a pretty lengthy stretch as we go through this auto-scroller, seeing Brandish just destroying cars left and right. Hopefully there are actually no people in those cars.
It's robotic driven. Let's assume that the companies that built these knew what they were doing.
But yeah, there's really not much left to say before we go to the actual boss. JP, do you have any other tidbits about the rest of the stage as we head towards Brandish?
Yeah, Brandish actually has one way to skip his desperation move with mixed weapon. It's rather tricky, and I don't know the full extent how it works, but we'll see if Tempest gets it. First you do regular couple dash words of damage, and then before he starts to do his desperation move, he will usually become invincible, but if you hit him at the right time, he will actually still take damage. But I have no idea what the timing is, I just get it randomly. Yeah, he's getting... No, it wasn't gonna work. It absolutely wasn't gonna work.
But yeah, you just saw the debut of Mix Power. You'll normally hear Beck go, crush, smash, and all that stuff when you hit stuff, but we're listening to a different VA. It's all good, though. It's all in the same spirit. And the fun thing about the weakness is that you actually do see Brand's blades break, and so that's what forces him to do the drop kick and his slide kick and other moves. So in a way, he's semi-manipulable, and yeah, that's some of the fun stuff about this fight. Otherwise, that move can be troublesome. All right.
43.
3 minutes, 3 minutes, 53 seconds, point 43. Good. That's pretty good, because this is one of the more consistently long stages. It's not the consistently longest stage, but it certainly can be one of those buggers right there. And just remember, we're trying to do this within 55 minutes of an estimate. This is a game that mostly follows IGT. You never know what could happen, folks. I want to add something to a bit that Creed said about the weapon refill. Another way you can refill your powers by collecting health ups. That actually counts as sort of an alternative to the weapon refill bit. So sometimes I might go out of my way to take some health, not just to recover myself, but if I need the ammo for a certain weapon as soon as possible, I might do that too. Alright, we're moving into Dyna Stage, and I'm going to, instead of going with Bat's weapon, I'm actually going to go with Mick, because shout out to Teki Tome, just their strat usually just sees them bashing through the enemies, which is not too bad. A bit of a slow start there, but yeah, as you can see right here, Mick's weapon is pretty handy because it actually generates some iframes of its own. Although that is the thing. See, we also didn't mention that any action that uses iframes will interrupt the iframe glitch. So I want to avoid using Resurrection if I can help it. Otherwise, Mick's own weapon, or at least I think it's the front shield air draft that you see after I've gone for a while. That's what generates the iframes. Whoa, 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 don't want to be slippery there. Okay, thank you, Gary. Ever so pleasantly shocking. Oh shoot, that was an unintended pause.
Getting ready for the fun size stage.
Oh no, I am absolutely not.
Brian will be proud.
Oh jeez. Well, at least that reminds me. Sadly, we won't be hearing pew 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 today. We're using the wrong voices.
Yeah. Also, ASMR Sanda is not there because this is in Japanese.
Well, he's kind of there, it's just much shorter. One of the silliest things about the differences between English and Japanese voices is that some of the actors really put like a huge difference between the lines of one and the other. 8-4 is the translation company behind this, and usually they're really good about their stuff. At least I would assume they've definitely been good about their stuff ever since Mighty No.9, because some of the differences between dialogue here and performances there, it really is there. It's funny when you think about it, but yeah, Sanda even says Shibata, which is the S word in Japanese. I won't say it just to be a little friendly here, but you know. Yeah, apparently Mighty No.9 wanted to keep its E10 rating for good reason. Although, let's be fair, Shadow the Hedgehog also had an E10 rating, and best known, where's that damn Fort Chaos emerald? Anyway, so I digressed a little too much there. Let's talk about Dyna Stage, shall we, gents?
Yep. Yeah, and you're about to come out to probably one of the most infamous parts of the stage.
No!
The turbines!
Jeez, you wound up down to the thing that wasn't really the infamous part of the stage, but yeah, those turbines are pretty much bad news. As you can see, since it's glowing pink, it's pretty much instant death. But of course, there's another spot where, of course, you're supposed to realize that when you actually dash, you actually have the ability to dash very low to the ground by holding the down button. Of course, the game really didn't quite telegraph that well. And of course, it made trying to get by the 2 turbines of doom all the more complicated, as you can see Tim is trying to do right now.
Yes.
And first try, very good. But yeah, otherwise, the pretty much you see the overall gist of the stage. Some blackout areas, some tricky platforming, just pretty much your basic standard stuff in an electric power plant. And of course, we're pretty much closing in on Donatron. But I will also say to the voice actor, especially in English, I'm gonna be blunt here. I think the VA for Sanda here kind of overacted here in English.
And let me remind you, that was Dave Wittenberg's, known for Kakashi from Naruto. Huge difference between it's a difference between the 2 roles. We got a serious mentor who has a troubled past, and then I think you all know the rest.
Yeah, a little to him, but yeah, back to Donatron. You can see we're using Brandish's weapon. Brandish's weapon is actually pretty versatile, depending on, of course, it has a charge function. Depending on the direction that you actually press, you can actually get different actions. Like you can see a downward slash just right there, and it's good to get rid of all the little bits that Donatron has, because the thing is, those bits will latch onto you, and after a certain period of time, she will try to use that to actually zap you down. So, actually, it's a very solid fight.
I would agree, yeah. So you saw me use one of 2 variants of Brand's Charge Slash. One is the Spin Slash. It does very minute damage and is very unfavorable in my book. I totally missed that. 3 minutes, 24 seconds, .67?
Yeah.
Okay, I got that. 1 second was all I needed. And then there's the Downwards Air Slash, which is personally my favorite, and it really can help you with, like, dropping really fast. Creed has seen me do my hang on, let me try and get to Counter Shade here. Initiating Counter Shade protocol. This is where I will take Snickers and eat it. Because you're not yourself when you're hungry. I wish I had sunglasses with me right now, but this will have to do.
I was about to call you out on that. I'm glad you made some kind of adjustment, so I am kind of proving of that. But yeah, we're heading while he feasts. JP, could you talk about the interesting little thing that Tim is about to do in this cluster of the stage?
This stage works a little differently. You're actually chasing Shade around the Capitol building instead of just going from left to right. So here we are not actually going to fight Shade, even though we found him. We're gonna manipulate the route a bit so we get a faster one. And yeah.
Hey.
She is weak to Dino's weapon, so actually, but we can survive it, or actually get to the boss fight a little bit quicker if we do a couple regular lemon shots and then Dino's weapon on Shade once we find him. And did you get the... Yeah, you got the worst. He can appear in 3 places in this room, on the chandelier or on the other side, or either on either sides of the room. And he got to the opposite one.
We would have preferred if he was on the right side of the room, just for clarity's sake. Let's see what else though. Yeah, so we did see. Yeah, JP is correct that we did see Shade at first, and we wanted to manipulate him because I'm actually trying to do a 3-cycle kill. And if all goes well after this one, we'll see him at least one more time, and then we'll get to the boss room. The red power might have messed it up just a tad, but we'll see. Oh, I might have used it just a little. Unfortunately, I didn't mean to use that ammo. I'll just take that guy's Zell. Yeah. And by the way, for those who don't know, Zell is this in-universe like cybernetic tissue. It's a breakthrough invention that one Dr. Blackwell created. Just a little bit of lore there, though. But yeah, Beck can absorb it. So yeah. All right, let's see here. Let's see if this works. And got it. Perfect.
Nice.
Yeah, because the main gimmick is that you're supposed to chase them all around the Capitol building in this very large hide-and-seek kind of scenario. And one of the worst things about this stage is that if you die, you pretty much got to do the whole area over again. So this potential setup to get to this fight as soon as possible is very, very much welcomed.
Yeah, definitely. And now we have the fight here, and he's weak to Dino's weapon. What he likes to do is shoot a couple of times, get shot a couple of times, and then disappear and move to a different position. If you use Dino's weapon on him before he disappears, you can actually see where he's gonna jump and also deal damage. Oh no.
It's all good. It's all good.
If you manage more of those Dino's pellets, you manage to latch, more damage will be done. And this is one of the other fights where you can skip the desperation phase.
It's not gonna happen though. It's definitely not gonna happen.
Yeah, that was a bad pattern. Well, now we're gonna see balls on screen and getting shot by the big pellets.
Please don't. Oh no. This could be a bit bad, but don't worry, we have a checkpoint having reached the boss room, so at least there's that. Come on, buddy.
Nice.
Oh, man. Thank goodness. Come on, just keep it up just a little bit more. Bam! Just like that. And then, just like that, we say, "See you, Space Cowboy," to Counter Shade. That's a reference to his English voice, Steve Bloom, best known for Spike Spiegel, Cowboy Bebop, and animated versions of Wolverine. Shout out to Steve. Also, Toonami Tom. 2 minutes, 35 seconds, .12. Alright, not too bad.
Oh, was it 12 or... Oh, I thought it was 15.
Yeah, it was what it is. Okay, so... it's at this point that the plot is trying to thicken just a bit more. Of course, I gotta skip that. We don't want that. But hi, Gregory Graham. Bye, Gregory Graham, the not villain of this game. I don't even know how to take that one seriously or not. So we're moving into Avi's stage, and before we get into that, we did gloss over something that, or at least I think we did. Not entirely sure there, but maybe we could explain the different colors of Zelda.
Well, yeah, we pretty much talked about that at the beginning because it's pretty much like The blue cells are used to like recover energy, and if you get enough, you get the energy tank of the game. Of course, if you get the red cells, you get a power up, increase the strength of your weapons. You get a yellow one, which pretty much increases your armor, either makes damage less or it gives you kind of like extra iframes, extra armor, whatever. And of course, green will instantly speed you up for a temporary bit of time. Every one of those power-ups are timed, except for the blue, which is stored over time to get your E-tank. So, yeah, just pretty much your main cell colors and how they're used. Meanwhile, in Avi stage, thanks Avi, we pretty much, this is basically our tower/sky stage. So, of course, we're going to be dealing with some aerial antics later on, but before we get to that, we already at the mid-boss. So, what we want from the mid-boss, we're going to be, once again, Battalion is our best friend in this. So we're hoping to get to a point where we can quick kill each and every phase of this mid-boss and try to destroy each and every component with the Battalion's weapon as quickly as possible. Of course, using the red cells as the extra damage buffer to try to get this fight as quick as possible. And looks like we're almost there. Just a little bit more. We still got a little bit of red power up. And there we go.
Nice.
So now let's see if the cutscene actually does what it's supposed to. I mean, I still need to skip it, but here's a little shocking discovery I made. Apparently the ship can still catch fire sometimes if you're playing this stage. The game almost doesn't recognize shade showing up. That happened only once in a practice run though, and to be fair, it was a completed file, so yeah, you never know. But I figured it was worth looking into.
Yeah, so to continue on with the stage, like we said, it's your sky stage, but you're also seeing that there is a wind mechanic that's going on that's going to either be a headwind or tailwind, which can help or hurt back, as the wind will try to push you in the direction that the wind's facing. So, of course, if the wind's going to be tailing behind you, it's going to be beneficial with your dash. If it's against you, it's going to hinder your dash speed all over the place. And you've seen that counter shade's resolution is used right now. It's actually a very powerful weapon that's used to bounce on every single robot or enemy and almost pretty much puts them in an instant state where they can be absorbed via an acceleration dash. But of course, this one is very high on weapon consumption thanks to the nature of its attack. So, and naturally, it's also going to be the weakness for Aviator. So, proper uses of this weapon to get by the area as quickly as possible is pretty much a necessary set of skills that you're going to need to get through this stage. Also, shoutouts to the updraft, actually carrying Beck through the skies for the finishing parts of this tower as we're about to head to the Aviator fight.
Yeah, one thing I want to mention is that in the updraft section, jumping is technically the faster means of getting across that, but yeah, the updraft and the dash, it helps quite a bit. I do want to apologize, by the way, if you happen to be seeing any frame slowdowns. Not much I can do about that. Not necessarily the game, I'm talking about my streaming device, but alas. Focus here as I'm trying to not fall off the dang platform. Thank you, game. This is what happens when Avi goes wrong because you're scared for your dear life.
This is one of the worst moves Avi can do because he will just fly all around. Well, left to right and right to left. You can barely hit him. Probably once if you're lucky by shooting the missile and getting a ricochet off of that. But yeah, Avi is one of those fights that if he decides that you will lose time, you will lose time.
Yeah.
His patterns is... yeah.
Something I totally forgot to do that is also a shout out to Teki Tome is that you can use the action shift shoot to bounce off a bullet, and it'll angle just about right to hone in on Avi. So that's a nice way to start the fight, and it would make it a little more convenient if I managed to do that if I wasn't so distracted. This could be bad. I think he managed to recover some health there, sadly.
With bosses, if you manage to deal enough damage so that they can be dashed, if you dawdle too much, they will start to recover their health back, and you'll have to do more damage and dash at them again later on. Right now.
Please don't be your destination. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Avi.
Thanks.
Okay, sheesh. We're looking on good times still, though, so thank goodness. Oh, goodness, Beckles. I don't think the Japanese dub ever says the multiple nicknames that the English one does. But yeah, 4 minutes, 35 seconds, .74.
Looking good.
Looking good. I'm just gonna move my mic back a little. Alright, so Aviator, this is the hovering-based thingy. So I liken it a little to Tornado Man from Mega Man 9, except unlike the Tornado Blow, which is the obligatory, I almost forgot about Pyro, obligatory screen covering weapon. Some obstacles in Mega Man 9 actually do interact with the wind mechanics. So in a sort of similar sense, we're going to use the power of floaty jumps when I get to use Avi. Not now, of course, but this is a good time to do the iframe glitch, so there you go.
Nice.
And that's perfect. Okay, so, JP, what's the deal with oil and ice in this game?
Oil and ice are fun little slippery surfaces here. You get speed if you dash on top of those without holding any movement input, so just pushing dash button is a instant boost. You got to go really fast.
I kid you not, in all my years of knowing this game, I had no idea about that.
Me neither.
The wonderful things you'll learn when you do something new. Unfortunately, this cutscene will take away my iframes. I'll get it back a little later. I've basically figured out the timing behind the box destruction jump with these boxes anyway. And sometimes these boxes can have their differences. Like the wooden boxes in Battalion Stage is a lot weaker. They crumble like paper mache. Meanwhile, the metal boxes, I wait for at least 2 flashes, and having figured out the timing is immediately a crawl. That's when I start to initiate the action shift jump. So yeah, it's all there's a bit of a science there. It's not too bad otherwise. But yeah, I'm very consistent with the iframe glitch, and that feels like one of the nicest things you can do when learning this game, because even though it's not 100% necessary, which Teki Tome has once again proven, shout out to Teki doing no iframe glitch runs back when. Still a pretty handy tool to have in your toolbox for Mighty No.9.
Definitely. This is one of the rooms where it especially comes in handy, since those towers, if they crush you, it's an instant death. But then those fireballs, if you get hit by them, you will pretty much be left underneath one. So with invincibility glitch, you don't have to care about the fireballs.
And now it's time for the Pyro Juggle. Do it with me. To the left, to the right, to the left, to the right. Toss your blades. That's your blades. Come on, Beck. Toss your blades. You're not doing it hard enough.
Yeah. The way Avi's weapon works is that you throw your boomerang and then you can call it back with the shoot button. But if you switch weapons after throwing a boomerang, you can throw another one and have millions of those on screen. And since they are Pyro's weakness, he can pretty much be bullied with them. Also, you can deal damage with if you are holding it in your hand and walking at Pyro. That's another way to deal with the boss, is just walk into him while holding the Avi's weapon in hand.
I do want to give a shout out to the Japanese voice actor of Pyro, who happens to be none other than the voice of Flame Hyanard in the Japanese dub of Mega Man X7. I think this is one of the things that KG or anybody who worked on this game intentionally did, and good on them for that. Probably one of the most hilarious discoveries I've made. That was 212.92. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, on that segue of things being cool, we are on our way to Cryosphere Stage, which not only is pretty much a tale of 2 levels. So, in the first half, it's pretty much going to be your general water section. The water section is really not that interesting. You do get kind of a bit of change in physics underwater, but probably one of the more interesting things is because you fall down much slowly in the water. When you dash, you pretty much dash in the air for a very, very, very long time. It makes most of the platform, especially in open areas, almost trivial, as you're about to see just right now. So yeah, there is ground right there, but you see with the help of Aviator's Resurrection for the hover to keep them suspended in the air or suspended above water for a longer time, and the air dash, you really never had to touch the ground, and that pretty much takes care of things there. So, no, go ahead.
No, it's fine. I use Avi because it makes the horizontal leveling consistent, and it allows me to grab ladder as soon as possible. It is possible to do that though with normal Beck or any kind of Beck, period.
True.
Yeah. As you were saying. But yeah, also yeah, let me remind you all that yes, as Creed said, it's not just a water level, it's an ice level.
Fun time. Also, you can jump on ladders for any Mega Man fans out there.
I was about to say that was a very, very lovely screen. I'm glad to have my ears pierced for it.
Oh my god, I'm sorry, I didn't mean for that to be loud.
And I have you on pretty high volume, so yeah. I woke up.
JP's staying up pretty. JP woke up pretty early to do this, by the way. So what a trooper!
It's 5 a.m., so yay.
Yeah, just keep in mind that the ice does mess with Beck's physics. You are able to grab onto ledges, but because of the ice, you will never be able to grab onto ledges. So if you get caught in a position like Tempest is now, especially later on where there actually be pink instant death lit close to in the stage, that could be a very harrowing situation. But you're about to see a repeat of the mini. Well, in a few moments, once Tempest recovers, you're about to see a return of this little ping pong mini boss. And this ping pong mini boss can be a bit of an issue. JP, if you'd like to explain it.
Well, as of now, we have Cryo shooting these little icy balls there that can freeze you. And also, you want to have actually the red power up here, because then you can deal with the boss runs more quickly. But now, we are actually getting close to the boss. And
please don't slip.
The boss fight actually kind of begins after the mini boss, because you really want to have this red power up brought to the boss, because you want to actually start charging. Oh, that was bad.
Yeah, that's a pretty nasty section.
But that room is that is scary room. That'll easily happen. But in-game time-wise, that's not actually that bit of a loss, since loading times aren't calculated into.
Yeah, but we are trying to be very fair on the estimate and stuff, and 55 minutes was pretty much the best that I could think of at the time. But whoo boy, when this game likes to bully me, this game likes to bully me, and it goes without saying.
And especially with this stage, yeah.
Yeah. When JP and I did a practice run, that was for sure.
Yeah. We show what this can be when it's at its worst.
Thank God.
The way Pyro's weapon works is it's actually an explosion around Beck. You can charge it to have the 3 different levels of damage, and you kind of want to have it as maximum possible before the fight, or at least 2 levels. Just because you can skip actually one of these water pillar attack moves where Cryo goes to the ceiling with it.
She's not behaving right now, though.
She's
Cryo is not one of my favorite bosses, let's just put it that way.
Yeah. She actually is a rather weak boss. She has only a couple of I think she requests 3 dashes. That's good. Her desperation move is also pretty annoying, because she will shoot a stream of ice and she will freeze you and do the Sonic the Hedgehog ball jump on top of you, dealing massive damage.
I still can't believe that's kind of a thing. 3 minutes 35 seconds, point 35. I wasn't expecting to see those numbers repeat. So now we've beaten all the mighty numbers, and we are coming into the late game, so we only got 3 levels left, and like I said, no boss fight, so thank goodness on that, but we do have to go through one of the consistently longest levels of the game that I foreshadowed, the prison. One of the stretch goals that this game met, because this was funded by Kickstarter.com, and this was back in Kickstarter's heyday, if I'm not mistaken, was a level for Call. And Call is a very cute character. I absolutely love her for what it's worth, but Hinty Creates, why did you have to give us this one, of all things? So, it's kind of like a 2.5D Metal Gear Solid, except without the stealth, and we're just trying to go fast.
Yeah, the stage it probably would show the best and the worst of what Call is capable of doing. The actual platforming isn't actually all that bad. The main gimmick is that, yeah, we don't want to miss those. So yeah, you're supposed to actually get several key cards throughout the stage where open these doors in order to pass through each stage section by section. we're gonna see if Call is able to. Let's see. No, this is not the area yet. But yeah, so Call, her Buster is very weak. Let's get that out of the way. You do not want to. You normally don't want to get into any kind of attacking situation. Of course, you see what the game does in a little bit. But yeah, she's able to shoot. She does have a force field to block out projectiles. And let's see, she gets this dash. There we go. So a little bit of a time save. She's supposed to like go all over the place, destroy those big mechanoids, and just get the card that way. And now for the second notion of the stage, which is probably one of the worst aspects, thanks to Rogue technically being a non-combatant. It's pretty much kind of like forced waiting. So you're pretty much just kind of like waiting for bombs to explode. You're pretty much forced to deal a lot of shots for even these weaker enemies, because the Buster's not that great. It's pretty much just like this artificial time lengthener where you gotta try to just get through this kill room as quickly as possible. Nah, it was fine, but yeah, see, there we go. Yeah, you want to hopefully get one jumps to get this particular machine into a stun position, and yeah,
that was class perfect.
Had the weapon go straight in his face. So yeah, we're almost done with this. Just a few more bits of platforming, and yeah. Don't necessarily want to get that little animation where you recharge your energy for said force field that's seen right now.
Patch robots, which we've been seeing all over the place. In Call's case, it replenishes her barrier, which is helpful only really for blocking those most basic projectiles. I'm gonna need a little bit of time here, though. Give me a second.
This is one of the scariest rooms. If you die here, you will have to...
Ooh! The missile got me. The missile got me.
No.
Wow,
yeah.
The missile got me. That was not...
You actually have to be fast there, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately. And normally I know how to take care of that, but again, the missile got me. Let it be known for the record.
Yeah, you start again from here after the kind of the gauntlet section.
Not the worst thing, obviously, but you know.
Yeah.
It's gonna waste
once you fall,
time.
Once you fall, it's gonna make your stomach rumble a little bit.
Also be careful when trying to get on those rings. I have actually soft locked there when the ring refused to return. I got stuck down the bottom with no way to get back up.
What the heck?
Of course, yeah, we want less of those.
Yeah.
Allow me to explain one of the tricky things about Mighty No.9, because we do use IGT, but that's also probably one of the biggest weaknesses of the game. Because there's no known accurate way to time the game's IGT, runs will be considered invalid if you get a game over. So you want to avoid, at all costs, getting game overs, and also want to make sure that you don't leave the stage midway by using the retire function in the pause button. There's not much we can really do about that, although it is very potentially possible to have a auto-splitter set, the PC version at least, so hopefully one day we'll have that figured out. And yes, let's go!
Finally, and we get to the cream of the crop. The stage was a fun time, as we can see from Tempest's face, but the boss fight is actually also another one of the most annoying things ever. The way this boss works is pretty much raiding and even more raiding. Now, Tempest destroyed one of the dog's eye actually, and now he wants to get it back, so he's gonna call for some boxes after he's done some shooting and getting back to you in 5 years. Those boxes are said to contain one of two things. A turret that the dog will eat and get another eye, or the bomb, which will damage the dog a lot. Actually, funny thing is that 3 bombs are enough to finish off the dog, but the first 4 boxes are said to contain 2 bombs and 2 eyes. So you're pretty much gonna have to go through the eyes too. You cannot get 3 bombs in a row and things fight quickly.
Hey Creed, what did you used to call this boss, out of curiosity's sake?
Belgarder.
Exactly. I love that name, and I personally use it to my own humor as well. It is very fitting for K9 here, and it's just, geez. This guy is probably one of the reasons why I wish this stretch goal was never met in the first place.
Yeah.
Much love to Cole all the same, though.
If you want to get your... go on.
No, go on ahead. It wasn't going to be anything important anyway.
I was just gonna say, if you want to get your lottery tickets up, you can actually get 3 bombs in a row if you destroy the contents of the box. If you destroy the box near the dog, the contents of the box will be pretty much instantly destroyed, so you can avoid those eyes. But how do you know what's in the box? You don't. Unless you kinda get the perfect pattern of getting 2 bombs instantly. So the next 2 are gonna be eyes, so you can use that, but then you have to hope that the 5th box will contain a bomb. Otherwise you will lose a lot of time. And I don't know
it's
if
a drone.
It's a drone, yeah.
We gotta either wait for a bomb or we gotta get the eye again. And the problem with that is, if we get another drone, I mean, let's, as you just saw right there, this boss is still not dead. So technically you gotta have like 2 drones to finish it off. It's whatever. But you know, it's not the worst thing, and at least trying to get through the thing is better than taking your chances. The thing about K9 is that he can technically destroy the drop, or even miss his bite, and that's the worst case scenario. So, you know, you don't want to waste too much time. You want to take one evil over another, or if you're feeling daring, you could just let him destroy the sentry and hope it's another bomb. But if you do that, well, you've kind of just called...
Hey, hang on. Sorry to interrupt, but hang on right quick. Yeah, boy!
5 minutes, 59 seconds, point 47. Those deaths did not help me, to be fair. And I regret to say we may go just a little bit over estimate because of that, but I think we'll still have at least a decent amount of time, all things considered, to at least finish the game. So, before I let JP finish what he was going to say, the fun fact is that now you also get a patch bot. So you can do the factory and the prison within whatever order you want. I prefer to do them as intended, as the stage likes to sort of hand them out to you. But when you go back to the main menu, you don't get Dr. Sonda because technically he and Call were infiltrating that maximum security prison to say hello to Dr. Blackwell. So instead you get the patch robots manning the base, and they're cute as heck. But yeah, shout out to the patch bots. So JP, you were going to say something before we had to acknowledge Dr. Sonda's victory pose?
I actually forgot what I was gonna say, probably nothing that too important then. But yeah, well, might as well talk about the current stage at hand. This is a stage where you pretty much get to use most of the power, or mighty number powers here. Those doors are actually opened by the buttons, and the stage kind of tries to give you different options to open the doors, and require you to use different weapons. Yeah, also, ping! Can you do it? Nice. Nice. And we're about to get to the first mini-boss of the stage. There are a couple here.
I call that the factory drop, by the way. The factory drop, the semi-safe version of it, but yeah. Hello, Mom.
Hello, Mom. This mini-boss is actually rather simple. You destroy the eye with the weapon of your choice, usually Avi or Cryo, and then you get trying to get rid of those robots that the dispenser drops. You can one-cycle this. Oh no! You can one-cycle this that she doesn't ever get to go into the hidey place. But yeah, not this
like
time.
A 3 or 4 cycle, that was unfortunate. But hey, not the worst thing.
If she goes into hiding, you have to destroy the bots. There's no way around that. She won't come around unless the slate is clean. And yeah, here we're climbing up, and here we see another button that opens the door, and you actually... They want you to use shade. Oh no, that was almost a good ricochet.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
I was gonna say...
coming up. Yeah. Another mini-boss, and you might recognize him. Hello. This one's a more trolly version of the intro stage boss. He likes to go to the ceiling and make it so that he's harder to hit, but it's looking rather good. And to the ceiling.
Oh, not this attack. This could be dangerous, especially if he got low health, because we didn't see it there, but when he goes on the ceiling and uses the hose, the second hose drawing is pretty, let's just say it's pretty forced, when you think, that's the best way to put it. Sheesh, that scares me.
This room is also rather scary. Like, there's a checkpoint just after the mini-boss, so it's not that big deal if you die. But yeah, now we're gonna go into a fun little room with some of the mighty numbers. We're just gonna be having a gauntlet room with them here, and this is a good place to... Yeah, this is a good place to kind of have your energy refilled by draining those little... I don't know what they are, please. Something...
I call them ticks.
Yeah, the ticks. You get pretty fast. You get your energy tank refilled pretty fast with those. But yeah, this is also one of the first places to read shoutouts or donations or announcements.
Right, so Tyler, if you have anything you'd like to say, now's your chance.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, you guys, for a fantastic run and awesome commentary. We do have a couple more prizes to go here. We got another T-shirt coming up for donations starting. That ends at 1 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. We still do have this incentive going for Ninja Gaiden Black a little bit later tonight, costume choice. So make sure that you get your donations in for that. All the donations support the tournament prize pool for next year. So you can donate to go along with the incentives and get the prizes, and as well as donate to see what sort of games that you want to see in next year's SpeedGaming Live 2022. So definitely get those donations in and support the runners who are putting a lot of effort into all the work this week. We've got the marathon here on SpeedGaming 2, as well as all the various tournaments going on the other SpeedGaming channels. I know one thing in particular that you can get is Triforce text for the Link to the Past randomizer tournament that's going on right now. That is a lot of fun. That you can do your custom text and get that into a seed for a tournament race from your runners. So, yeah, get those donations in, and we'll read them on the air, and back to you guys.
Well, there's one thing and one thing only to say. Boys, it's time to say it with me. There's no escape.
There's no escape!
What they said.
Basically what just happened was I unfortunately failed a quick kill that was intended to end in one cycle. Oh wow, Tyler doesn't even have any ammo at this point. The problem with the Nameless boss right there, it's literally called Nameless because the Cherry Dynamics factory was producing these unknown violent robot models. The idea was to destroy one, then move on to the computer, defeat the big bad button, and then hopefully within one go, it's that. But if another one spawns and attacks, then it's going to result in that missile attack, and it's completely so luckily, okay, let's see, that was a 438.48, I think, something along those lines. I'm gonna have to double check.
I'm gonna check the stream.
Yeah, no probs. So, it's at this point that once you've beaten both stages, another cutscene happens, and the plot basically comes to a head. Turns out that Cherry Dynamics CEO Gregory Graham was so much of a money grubber that he couldn't help but release William White's final project when he used to work at Cherrydyne, which was Trinity, the bassist behind Beck himself. She was very experimental. If her technology could have been a breakthrough, but Dr. Blackwell was very concerned about the inherent dangers. So he ended up doing a little ploy here at the Battle Coliseum, which is now fused with so much Zell, and this is the final stage, by the way. But yeah, and so we're basically here to confront Trinity, where it all began, so to speak. And so, yeah, also, Dr. Blackwell is William White's biological father. Yeah, it turns out William White was Bill Blackwell. Very, very subtle game. He didn't have the afro though, so I have to wonder what he did do for his haircut. Anyway, so yeah, let's move along. I'm gonna definitely put as much focus as I can into finishing this stage. Quick clear, because this is one of the final gauntlet sections. the game has to offer. Power-ups here, and then do some more talking. So go ahead, guys.
You wanna greet something?
Let him go ahead and begin, JP.
Okay, well the stage is the final stage is rather difficult, but yeah, it's one of the interesting things this has are those X-cell blocks that you actually they damage you if you touch them. Unless you shoot them, they will turn into platform blocks that you can use for platforming purposes. But if you shoot them more, they will destroy like that. And if you take distance to them, you can actually call them back, or they will reform themselves. So.
Yeah, it's one of those mechanics that really wasn't explained well within the game itself, because you're kind of like be wondering where did the platform go, why is it not coming back, and then you realize all of a sudden at random that if you do set yourself a little bit of distance, then you do end up coming back and you're able to try again. And here goes Tempest going through this little shortcut area, which is kind of helpful because thanks to the power, the Zell power of the red one, you can actually try to manage going through all these Zell blocks and try to destroy them in a way where you can just stand on them and get through that area right here. So now we got ourselves a little bit of auto-scroller where we get this big old plot dump about how Trinity and Beck are pretty much related to each other, and yeah, this is very, well, yeah, let's be blunt, it's slow. Very, very slow.
I will attempt to do the glitch here. I think that did it. Hey, perfect.
Nice.
So I'm going to once again give Tyler a bit of time to say some more things if he'd like to, so go ahead. Or we could just keep talking.
No, that's all right. Like I said, all your donations go towards those the prize pools for the tournaments for next year's event, SGL 22. So those donations are certainly well appreciated. We got a lot of great prizes for coming up for the rest of the event. Lots of cool T-shirts. I bought a one of these SGL T-shirts that has some rupees on them, particularly for the past guy. And so we've got some Zelda T-shirts, and with a Mario question block, we got a Minecraft pickaxe, some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles weapons, a Castlevania whip. So very, very cool T-shirts that you can pick up, and those donations can go towards the incentives and the prizes as well.
Sounds good. And with that, sorry to cut you off there, but we have entered the final boss. So this is phase 1, the ET Devil Trinity. Let's see if I get the goal.
This mechanic is a bit tricky. If you go just for the mash, it's gonna be rather precise. You can also finish off with Cryo's weapon to have 2 weapons on screen, and the only thing that can damage enlarged Trinity is a Cryo's overtime damage. So if you get Cryo shots in before she becomes a big guy or wall again, you can have a little bit of damage in.
Unfortunately, that didn't work out either. So we're gonna have to just get in one more hit, but don't worry, because otherwise the rest of this fight should be as safe as it possibly could. Just get that. There we go, and we're on to phase 2. And this is where things get a little interesting. Agreed?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the thing about the final phase of Trinity, you're pretty much gotta try to pretty much whittle this little flower, this pretty little flower here, and pretty much just send it down to a point where you can actually hit it in the face. So of course there's a number of ways to do it. At least for this particular section, Battalion's weapon is actually pretty good for destroying multiple pieces to get those parts down to floor distance where you can fight that. And yeah, hopefully you can use brandish. I've seen people use seismics resurrection as well to get through this area as quick as possible as well. But we should be coming very close on time, very shortly.
Whoa! I finally got the quick kill.
Very good.
All right, time will be on the final contact once I touch the orb, and wait for it. Time.
The Castlevania moment.
GG's.
GG. Nice. Let's see the final. Then I'm gonna calculate the fractions.
Sounds good. Oh, that was so tense for me, but oh, that was that paid off in the end. We were maybe 6 minutes over estimate, but I'm glad we were able to make it work. Whew. I'm gonna refresh after that one. But our final time is 5 minutes 4 seconds .05.
Calculator.
Hoi.
147. 3.
So while we're waiting for the calculations, you got any shout outs, thanks, and whatnot, Tempest, to before we close out here?
Oh, absolutely. I want to give a shout out to Techie Tome, JP, and Random, a few people that I've particularly had some involvement with, because JP's videos and Techie's videos were what I studied to practice for the run, especially. Random, I got to do co-commentary with him for his esports company, RBG Esports' Gold Rush Marathon, where he did any percent hard and got the top line before JP, and it was a really fun time. And just a big shout out to anybody who's run Mighty No.9 altogether, and oh yeah, Mr. Cab being a wonderful supporter in the chat, and overall Cab was with me when I first did Mighty No.9 for an event using my created challenges solo trials 1 to 23 for Horrible Games, and yeah, it was a fun time. It's what allowed me to get my start with this game. Needless to say, it was another run that I first watched and thought to myself, man, this game really can work as a speedy thing. But that's another story. And overall, it's just a story of today, here and now, and man, I just want to continue with this game if possible. But for what it's worth, this will do. Thank you both, Creed and JP, for being with me. It was a fun time. SpeedGaming, thank you for having me again. I was previously with them for their No Kid Hungry event, where I did Shovel Knight Showdown and my Mega Man Extreme 2. Good times. So, alright, I'm going to look at that file timer real quick. We'll see what it was, and then JP will get back with me. So, 43 minutes, 13 seconds, and JP, what do you got to say?
3 minutes, 19 seconds, and 37.
Alright, that was the fraction for the milliseconds.
Yeah. So 6 seconds, 37. 6.36. The word is 37, I can speak.
Fair enough. Well, that was Mighty No.9, y'all, and coming up next we have Mr. Cab, the aforementioned man of the chat, doing one of my favorite lesser-known Mega Man games, Mega Man V. It's going to be a great time. I hope you all looking forward to it. My name is TempestMask1000. If you'd like to follow me, that'd be cool. Of course, it's perfectly optional. I don't have a static streaming schedule. I just do it whenever I can. Creed, JP, anything you'd like to say before we sign off?
GG.
Yeah, not much to say. Just thank you for having us on. And we gotta be moving along because we're on a schedule.
Sadly.
So
I'd love to stay in chat, but parting is such sweet sorrow. All right, everybody, enjoy the rest of the event. Good luck to the tournament goers, and until next time, TempestMask1000 signing off.